It's getting hotter in Southeast Asia that cars are catching on fire. Why? Because of these things. If it gets too hot, these things explode. I was gonna talk about global warming, but did you know there are people whose job it is to lie about climate change? Steven Crowder. He calls himself a climate change realist, but according to him, climate change is a myth.
Number 2, you've heard this one everywhere. The ice sheets are melting.
Ooh, we're realists. We know more than you.
Instead of being a denier, he's an intellectual. So let's talk in depth about it. According to his website, and Courtney whatever, Courtney writes, what? Climate change failed. Glaciers are growing again. The glacier is growing as quickly as it's shrinking. The alarmists are trying to scare you to support their efforts for climate change. Ooh. Then we're presented this graph, and apparently it's the reason why the glaciers aren't melting. But there's something wrong about this graph. Well, it kinda looks lacking. What if we find the actual graph and zoom out? We're kind of being lied to. Yes, the ice grows a little, but it literally melts a ton after. And if we look back at 2002, the ice isn't just melting. It's melting in large amounts. Even Jay Swally, the author of this paper, was interviewed by Scientific American, and he literally tells us to not use this paper as proof that global warming doesn't exist. Steven Crowder is literally knowingly and doing just as that. Knowingly lie about research, fabricating data, and literally zooming in on actual graphs that it's literally so easy to debunk. But why is it so believable? Because the people watching them are afraid. Take for example InfoWars, who would find videos of people vandalizing Christmas trees and suddenly rebrand it as,
"This is the Fleminist liberals want to do to you. They want to destroy your society and your holidays."
but in reality it's just regular people vandalizing things.
With, don't say Merry Christmas. And it ends with, they create an orthodox centralized system as well that is going to be welded into the new fascist left West. And out of that marriage, you will have the communist socialist system of Islam.
And this is the nature of the propaganda. They want you to feel like your life is in danger. So let's just put in all the bad things. Destruction of your culture. Oh, not my culture. Erasure of your religion. Oh, that's bad. Goodbye to your holidays. No more Christmas for you. And they do it by making random stuff up. In that very same InfoWars video, Tesco was outed for trying to destroy Christmas.
This is a deliberate Orwellian.
Why would a grocery chain store want to destroy Christmas?
Good question. One of the guest speakers in InfoWars writes, cards, wrapping papers, confectionery, not a single mention of the word Merry Christmas, not a single one. Christmas cards have now been called charity cards. Truly pathetic. It's all politically correct douchebaggery. They're not even called Christmas crackers anymore. Wait, what is that? It honestly looks like Merry Christmas.
Process of eliminating words, changing language for the purposes of some lame nod at political correctness.
Why is saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas such a controversial topic? Argument is that it's just sometimes nice including people who don't share the same religious beliefs as you in your holidays. So what does conservative media tell us?
Activists on the left will eventually seek to remove Christmas as a national holiday. Now, the left doesn't announce that its agenda is to thoroughly secularize American and European societies. Instead, they offer the inclusiveness argument.
The argument is that there is no argument. The argument is the left are a secret cult who are trying to destroy you. But they can't really say that they're evil, so they have to make this argument.
It's ingenuous when they dismiss defenders of Merry Christmas as fabricating some, quote, war on Christmas. Of course it's a war on Christmas.
This is batshit insane, right? Apparently people who think this whole thing is silly and think this is kinda slightly insane are secretly trying to destroy you and are secretly are at war with your country and your religion.
A war on the religious nature of America.
What? And this is how these conspiracies work. Because these conspiracies can't stand on solid ground, they really have to convince you that the people who think you're wrong are secretly your enemies, are secretly trying to destroy you. And it's brilliant because how can you think straight? How can you think about logic and truth when you believe your streets are lined with P-words? In the past years, there was a lot of fake news coming from Pride events. This is original, and this is what happens when fake news political groups touch it. When you feel like aerialists are taking over your country, to dub over sports fans in Paris and make them sound like terrorists to instill immigration fear. When you feel like a woke mob is after you for being white or religious, whatever.
Up whatever, and occasionally cut to footage of a tree being pushed over or some random act of vandalism and explain how they're all connected by a web of destruction by the secret Muslim communist anti-family.
At some point, you don't really want to believe that you were wrong, because you've invested so many emotions. If this fake news thing had a goal, what are they trying to sell you?
Let's see, you're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Ex-conservative administration and what it calls the Project Pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
Okay. So let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's probably my favorite of it. It also prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. I don't know why or how anybody can support Project 2025. And I know that there was allegedly a joke about dictators and whether or not that's funny, but in the United States of America, dictatorships are never funny. And Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in.